Kimberly, thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be a really interesting talk with you today. How are you today? It's tonight. How are you? How are
I'm
you
great.
tonight?
Thank you for having me, Natalie. Thank you so much.
No worries. I'm excited. I'm just going to say Kimberly and I have both just wrestled our children to bed, and I'm hiding in the bedroom so I don't make too much noise. It's a bit of a
Yeah.
different setup. So if there's any screaming, we apologize for that.
Yes, yes.
So, um, we'll get started. So, this Ask the Expert Live is all about networking in Australia and building your community in Australia. And I guess when we say the word networking, some people are scared of it. I am not very good at networking. And when I say to my clients networking, sometimes they get scared. So we changed it to connecting, just
Mm,
connect.
yeah, I like that.
And building community professionally and personally, I think, is also
Yes.
really important. And Kimberly, she came to Australia 11 years ago as an international student, and now she has an incredibly thriving career in career development.
Mm,
And she's also founded the Migrant Women International Network in Adelaide as well. So I guess, can you introduce yourself to those of us who don't know you? First of all, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now with your career and with the Migrant Women's Tech as well.
yes, thanks, Natalie. Hi, everyone. My name is Kimberly, and I'm currently working as a career services coordinator at UniSA. But on the side, I'm also the founder of Migrant Women Professional Network here in Adelaide. We started early this year, and we've actually journeyed 10 oh no 11 events so far, which is pretty exciting. And I was just telling Natalie early in this session that we've had 350 people attended our events from over 45 different countries,
That's
which is
incredible. I
amazing.
didn't know it was
Yeah.
only this year. I thought
Yes,
it
it
was
was on.
2 years. That's
No.
amazing.
Yes, we
That
started in
is
January this year.
incredible. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna ask you questions about that and how you founded it, how you networked, how you built that community, because that's exactly what we're trying to learn about today.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a huge achievement. Like in a year, less than a year,
Yes.
you've built like 45 different countries. Women connecting is just amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Um, so obviously, if you have any questions, if you just comment on this, it will pop up for us and then we'll answer. If you're watching the replay, if you want to comment or connect with Kimberly on LinkedIn, and I'm sure she'll be happy to answer. And if you're in Adelaide and you're a woman, you should definitely keep listening and learn about this amazing network that Kimberly has founded. So first of all, tell us about your journey. So you came to Australia 11 years ago as an international student, and I am sure it hasn't been very easy. Was it super easy for you?
Oh, no, definitely
Yeah.
not.
So tell us a little bit.
Yeah, I yeah, definitely not. I think like my first couple of weeks, I really struggled being here. I wanted to go home. I was just having a lot of like problems that I couldn't really overcome. And I was really lucky. Like in my first year itself, I made really, really good connections and really great friends. So that really helped me. And I also actually met my husband in my first year
Oh,
of being in Adelaide as well. Yeah, so that's lucky. But yeah, I think it was definitely difficult. And I think for me, I really struggled in terms of like looking for a job. But I knew that was the case. I knew that I needed to do something different, and I knew I needed to do more to get that first opportunity. So when I was in my uni days, so the first 3 years of uni, I did a lot of volunteering. I participated as a mentee. I did a lot of internships. So I tried to do a lot of different things to get that experience.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's so important.
yeah, absolutely. And what did you study at uni?
Yeah, I actually studied in UniSA as well. So I did my bachelor's in marketing and communications.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, hello Prasad.
Hi.
He just said hello from Singapore. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, internships and building connections.
Hmm.
So if someone is an international student now, or maybe not even an international student, because I do feel like we focus a lot on international students in Australia, and obviously we should, but there are new migrants here as
Yes.
well who aren't on a student visa who have the same struggles as well, and they don't have the studies to keep them busy in a way. So
Yeah.
what advice would you give someone who's just arrived here in the first couple of years? Even I think it can
Yeah.
still be challenging. What
Yeah.
advice would you say?
I would say as difficult as it is, like moving to a new country is already a challenge, it's already really difficult. So I would definitely encourage, all these new migrants to look out for opportunities or events that they can attend. For example, like Migrant Women Professional Network in Adelaide. Yeah, so I think like looking for events like this where they can meet new friends, I think that's really important. And I think that's also one of the reasons why I started the Migrant Women group. I think as a new migrant moving here, and you don't go to university here, it's going to be really challenging for you to find a group of friends or build connections. So, coming out and actually meeting new people
Yeah,
that's also in the same kind of boat as you,
yeah,
looking for jobs similar to you, I think
yeah.
that's going to really help. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, and when I speak to my clients, and we speak about networking, a lot of them think about hiding behind LinkedIn and just kind of sending LinkedIn messages. What would you say the difference is between LinkedIn and sending LinkedIn messages or getting out of your house and meeting people? What's your opinion about both of them?
I think the initial stage, like you could probably slowly start to build your confidence through actually, messaging people on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
And I think that was what I did as well.
yeah, perfect.
So, in order to kind of get more people to join, for example, Migrant Women Group, I try to message a lot of them and then encourage them to come along for the event. And I think the difference there is when you meet people in person, it's so different from meeting them or messaging them on LinkedIn. I think that the difference is the connection.
Yeah.
When you're talking to them, you can feel a little bit more relaxed. And I think just building that connection and that relationship is really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that.
Mm.
And then looking for networking events or connection. And there's a lot as well, like on Meetup, even. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
professional events. Would
Yes,
you agree with me?
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you go onto Eventbrite Eventbrite or even on LinkedIn,
yeah,
sometimes even on Facebook, it doesn't have to be a professional event that you attend. It can be about, just making new friends
yeah.
because I think it's so isolating, especially
Mhm.
when you're coming here alone. Or sometimes even with your family, you can move here with your husband and your
Yeah,
kids. But, for example, you send your kid to childcare and your husband is going to work and
yeah.
you might need to look for that group of friends that you can build a relationship with. So I think that's so important.
Yeah, and I think as well, from my experience, and I did it as well when I've been here almost 11 years from the UK as well,
Oh,
and it's yeah, I'm from Scotland,
yeah,
not Australian, and people, we focus so much on the career, on getting the job. It's all about the job. It's all about learning English or getting the job and feeling stability. But we forget, a lot of you forget about having fun, and
yeah,
actually feeling joy in Australia. So it's as simple as going and meeting people, and then just building confidence that way as well. In my opinion, I had a
yeah,
client who was feeling nervous, but then we looked at a meetup.com hiking group, and then she went on a hiking trip and she
yeah,
met people that way as well. So it doesn't have to be a scary network.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And is that what you did as well? You kind of went to different events?
Yes, definitely. So like, when I first attended like the different I guess, different networking events when I was in uni, I was always the girl that was standing in the corner,
Yeah,
and I will always waited for someone to approach me,
yeah,
right? But then I soon realized that actually I wasn't the only one standing in the corner. I could see many other people who were standing in the corner.
yeah,
So instead, I took that opportunity to kind of approach them because they were alone and they were probably feeling the same way as I
yeah.
was. Yeah, so that was how I kind of started, and slowly, I was able to gain confidence through that.
Amazing, perfect.
Yeah.
So it's like you're realizing, reading the room, as we said.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think also it takes a lot of practice. So,
Yeah,
sometimes like people think that, oh, I attend one networking event and oh, I was terrible at it. I'm not gonna go. It's not my thing. But I felt that way in my first networking as well. So I think it takes time to practice to,
yeah,
like you said, read the room a little bit.
yeah,
And the more networking events you attend, the
yeah,
more you realize that, oh, actually, it's not that bad. Like people will start to approach me a little bit more, or I start to build a little bit more confidence to approach other people.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Yeah.
Uh, Kanchana from Adelaide. Is that what?
Oh, hi. She's one of my students from Kaplan
Ah,
before.
perfect. And do you go to Migrant Women Professional Network as well? I hope so. Well, you should. Hello, nice to meet you. Let us know if you have any questions, Prasad and Kanchana. I guess I'm going to ask you some technical questions about networking now for anyone who's like, I really want to network, but I feel overwhelmed. I feel nervous about it. I don't know where to start. And you have said, I don't want you to have to repeat yourself. You've already said start slowly.
Yes.
You can go to LinkedIn and send some messages first of all, and then build up your confidence by interest groups and hobbies before
Mhm.
going to an event. Is there a strategy that you followed, or do you just follow your gut instinct to kind of do what felt right? Or do you have a networking strategy or anything
Oh.
like that? You can say no. It's a silly question.
I don't really have a strategy per se for myself, but I would definitely say, I think when you go to an event, have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when I first attended a lot of events in my first or second year of uni, I got really nervous because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to meet someone tonight and they're going to give me a job.
Yeah.
So you already put that pressure on yourself,
Yeah,
you
that's true.
know,
Yeah.
or you have that thinking like, oh, I'm going to meet the CEO, like I'm going to meet really, really like big short people.
Yeah.
And it puts that like unnecessary pressure on yourself. So I
Yeah.
think when you go in with an open mind and just think like, okay, I'm just going to meet three new people, or I'm going to make three new friends, three new connections, build three new relationships. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if the outcome is a job or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's how I would recommend, and that would be my strategy.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
And you're so right. You're absolutely right. You think
Yeah.
about who you can meet, and think
Yes.
about getting a job and the CEO. And
Yeah.
obviously you're gonna feel so scared. So yeah, just go with the flow, as we
Yes.
say.
Yes. Go with the flow. Yeah.
Um LinkedIn users, sorry, it's not coming up with your name. So hello. So someone found you from your profile. So it might be one of your participants in your group.
Maybe.
Let us know if you have a question anyway. So, in terms of LinkedIn etiquette, do you have any advice about that in Australia? That's something that I kind of teach my clients. But is there anything that you would suggest in terms of LinkedIn etiquette when you're messaging people to try and connect?
Yeah. I would say I would say I think like people have the wrong like interpretation that when they message someone on LinkedIn, it has to be about something.
Mm,
Like they want to gain something out of it, like for
yeah,
example, a job.
yeah, it's usually
If
a job. Yeah,
yes, so think about it, like put it in this way, right? Like if you were to message someone and say like that you've never met before, and you're like, hey, like I saw your profile, you're really interesting, I think you have a job for me. Do you want to hire me? I think that's really, really weird,
Yeah,
especially as a
agree.
first impression. So I would definitely recommend, like, try to build that relationship first on LinkedIn. I would say something like, hi, like I've seen, your post on LinkedIn is really, really
Yes.
interesting. I
Hmm.
want to find out a little bit about the industry that you're in. Are you able to catch up for coffee? And you know what? If they say no, then that's fine, right? Like, at least you tried. But if they say yes, and actually, that's a really, really interesting story that I have. I have a friend of mine that I've known for years now, maybe 6 years now. And she actually approached me on LinkedIn. And she added me on LinkedIn and she said, hi, like I saw your profile and you and I have like really similar interests. I just moved here from Japan. Like, would you like to meet up for coffee? And I was like,
Perfect.
yes.
How did you feel when she said that, first of
I
all?
was like, I start to like research. Obviously, like I, check her profile and things like
Yeah.
that. And I was like, okay, I might try like to catch up with her, and we're still friends now. So
Yeah, I love that. I
yeah,
think because I know someone who attends your events and she went to a coffee chat with someone as well. She was using a similar strategy when I was working with her. And I mentioned it to some clients in
yes.
my group coaching, and they were terrified of going out for coffee with a stranger. So what would you say to them? So I guess in some different cultures, the idea of saying, would you like to go for a coffee? And then going for a coffee with a stranger seems a bit scary and weird.
Mm.
But with your experience with your professional women's network and your career development work, what would you say to that? Like, is it more common than we think?
I think it's more common to catch up for coffee. But I think, like, if you're a woman, for example,
Hmm.
and someone approaches you to go for coffee, I would definitely recommend to do a proper search on
Yeah,
that person
yeah.
first to make sure that everything is checked out, or if you have any mutual connections to see, have anyone else met with this person before. And then if it all checks out, then I would say go, like, try.
What have you got
Yeah,
to
why
lose?
not? Yeah, you've got nothing to lose. Yeah. And it's an open space. Like, obviously don't meet in an office or something like that. Meet at an open space, like in a cafe or something like that. I think that's totally fine.
Perfect. Um,
Yeah.
Kanchana says, I'm a single parent and find it difficult to attend evening events. Fair enough. We understand that. You take your daughter sometimes. Does that look okay in business networking events if she how old's your daughter? What's your
I,
opinion about
I
that?
think I've actually seen like Kanchana bring her daughter at different events as well. I think as a parent now, I think I can understand. Like being a single parent is not easy, you
No.
know. Yeah, it's really not easy. And I think if you want to grow your career and you also need to look after your child,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think if you are in the right environment where people are encouraging, and of course, like, they might ask, but as long as you're open to telling them, like, well, I'm a single parent and
Fine. Yeah.
I'm still keen to attend events like this. So that's why I'm here. I don't think that's an issue with that. Yeah.
I don't think so either. I mean, I think
Hmm.
I have a 3-year-old, and I think if I tried to take my 3-year-old to a networking event, she'd be
Oh,
very disruptive. So I just asked the age. But yeah, I think it's okay, and I agree with Kimberly, especially something like Kimberly's events where it's all women and they
yes.
absolutely understand, and you can network that way as well. So yeah,
Mm.
I don't think there's a problem. I actually find it really inspiring that you are doing it, that you're
Yeah.
still so resilient and ambitious to grow yourself, that you take your daughter with you.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
To be honest, absolutely. It should be a networking event where it's like a babysitter as well. That would be
Yeah, yeah.
great.
In the future, in the
In the
future.
future. All right. Okay. So I guess we've talked about LinkedIn. We've talked about getting started. What about language barriers? So, as we know, a lot of people, when they first move to Australia, or even when they've been here for many years, they still feel a little bit self-conscious about their English ability. Even in my opinion, when it's absolutely fine, it's still just an insecurity that happens, and that's fine. What
Mm.
would you say about that? What advice would you give from your perspective, people who are worried about going to networking events because of their English barrier?
Yeah, I think don't be too worried about that, really. I think knowing multiple language is a superpower.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard that in one of my events before, because the thing is, like with the events with Migrant Women Professional Network, is that there's so many women from different cultures, and we have
Yes.
so many different accents, so many different languages, and I think just embrace it, you know.
Yeah.
And for me as well, like I've been in Australia for 11 years, and I haven't picked up the Australian accent, but I speak English, you know.
Yeah.
So
This
yeah,
I 100% agree.
embrace it. Yeah.
Embrace accents as well. I would just add as well, and I guess it's repeating you about starting step by step. It's don't put yourself into networking events that's going to make you feel uncomfortable. So think about the type of atmosphere it's going to be,
Mm.
especially at the beginning. Like, it sounds like obviously your events are really warm, really welcoming, really open, really encouraging, but maybe some other events might not be.
Yeah.
And I know it's difficult to find out
Yeah,
which
and
one is, but
you
just be
know,
aware of that. Yeah.
yeah, and I think you know what, like I've attended so many networking events. I would say more than 100.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, in Adelaide. And really, not all networking events are going to be beneficial for you.
Yes.
Some networking events you attend and you're like, maybe it's not my thing, you know, like didn't really work out, or I didn't really meet good connections, or I didn't really make any new friends. That's okay, because
Yeah.
there's so many different other networking events that you can attend that will bring you so much more value. You know, you meet so many different people, and that's fine too. So, you know, just trying to balance that out as well, and don't always have the expectation that you need to come away with something from an event, because you
Yeah.
know, if you don't, then that's fine, because then you're learning from it, right? So you know, oh, next time in the future I might not attend an event by this person, or you know, this company, or yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Absolutely. And what you said about feeling the pressure as well at the beginning,
Mm.
is it's like take the pressure off.
Yeah, yeah.
So can we summarize a little bit for everyone? So if you said you haven't got a strategy, if there were a step by step for someone who wants to start to network, what would the step by step be? And it's kind of just summarizing what you've already said, just so that people can listen back. So I'll start. So start small. So start with LinkedIn. Maybe test it out by sending some LinkedIn messages, but don't ask for something straight away.
Yes, yes,
Build
yeah,
connection first.
yeah.
Talk about a post or where they work and find a mutual ground,
Yeah.
and then talk about asking for a coffee. Then what would
Hmm.
you say the next step is?
I would say, you know, register yourself for a first event, and try to attend. And if you're afraid, like bring a friend along.
Yeah,
You know, I think that's a great way to meet people. And you know, that friend may be able to help you, and you might be able to help your friend as well. And you're going together, you're gonna learn, you're gonna get value, both of you. So yeah, bring a friend along.
love that. Absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah.
just start, right?
Yes.
And then if you are quite ready to kind of go into a official networking event, you can look on meetup.com, and look for things like social events or hiking, or boating, or whatever sporting events, and you can meet people through a hobby as well. That is good enough in my eyes.
Mm.
And then what? Just keep doing that. Just keep. Would you say set a goal like once a month?
Yeah.
Or
I think it really depends, like what your goal is when you're
yeah,
networking. You know, like, are you there to build friendships? Are you trying to find a community where you can keep on attending and meeting new people, and or are you trying to, you need to think about what the goal is, right? And for me, like when I was a student, my goal was to find a job, but it didn't eventuate in the end. Like, I didn't find a job through networking, but it was through like networking that I was able to kind of meet so many different people. And I
Yeah.
think that's really cool as well.
Yeah, 100%, and it's definitely paid off now. 100, it's been great. All right, we've got a few questions, and then
Okay, yes.
I'm gonna ask you about your group next. So, Kanchana, many times we meet great business people in events, and sometimes the connect dies off later. Do you recommend still keeping in touch even if we don't have a purpose? I do. I do. I would suggest connecting on LinkedIn afterwards, for sure. What would you say to that
Yeah,
one?
I think connecting on LinkedIn is good because your LinkedIn connection can actually see what you're doing, like
Yeah,
your constant updates on LinkedIn is gonna keep them top of mind, keep yourself top of mind. Like, whenever they see your post, they remember, oh, this is that person that I met at a networking event.
yeah.
And it's really interesting because I posted something, I can't remember, like a couple months back, and one of my mentors from ages ago, maybe from like 9 years ago,
Yeah.
commented and said, "Oh, I remember you because she was the one that encouraged me to start LinkedIn."
Exactly.
You know, so
Perfect.
so
Good.
that's I love that about it. Like,
Mhm.
even though you're not gonna see them ever again, maybe, like, but they can still see what you're up to on LinkedIn. And
Absolutely.
that's what's really great about LinkedIn, because before that, you will actually have to message them, or like, give them a call, email them. But now, once you post something, everyone within your contacts can
Yeah,
see.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you like things as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
I would 100% agree with that. So definitely like connect on LinkedIn after, like maybe a day or two later, and say, great to meet you. Be great to connect on LinkedIn.
yeah.
And then who knows, right? You might see them
Mm.
again if you're in the same city. I connected with people on LinkedIn maybe a year or two ago, and I've just asked them to be part of the Ask the Expert series.
Yeah,
So you don't know what's going to happen in your life. So definitely connect on LinkedIn and engage with them on LinkedIn as well, I would say.
yeah.
Getting through the thing.
Questions, yeah.
Prasad, I told you this would happen. Prasad, that's inspiring considering the situation, yet swimming through challenges to reach out to opportunities. Hope what you're setting out to achieve materializes soon. Well, we're going to find out what she's already achieving soon. We've been talking about some of her big goals for next year as well. So it's exciting, and she's very inspiring. Kim is very
Thank
inspiring.
you.
Um, and then also some events are paid. Do you suggest investing in such events? And does it really add value? What do you think?
Mm, uh, okay, so this is my take on this. Like, I I personally wouldn't attend a paid event. Yeah. And as much as a lot of people encourage me, like, oh, Kim, like, maybe you should start charging people as well for your Migrant Women Professional Network event. And I'm just like, oh no, because I will not pay to attend an event. So I think that's just me. That's in my opinion. Maybe I'm just really thrifty with my money.
Yeah.
But I think if you see an event that is really of value to you, and you know the people that are going to attend the event, that you really really want to meet, or that they're going to give you some sort of connection, or future opportunity, or some sort of industry that you really want to get into, then I think, yeah, pay the money, but I wouldn't pay $50.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
you know
Yeah. Can I add to that and disagree with you?
yeah, of course,
So yeah,
of
I
course.
understand why people would say that you should charge for your events, because I know how much work goes into that. Like, I know how much work goes into that. And yeah, I think it depends on the cost.
Mm,
Um, from an event management perspective, organizing the guests, organizing the venue. Some guests might want to be paid, and I know, Kim, you does an incredible networking job of getting guests who don't want to be paid, but some would if it's in a different city. So it really depends. If it's a small amount, like $20 or something like that, and there's a really great guest speaker, or there's a really good opportunity within your specific industry, then I probably would. But I'm not like $100. That's
Yeah.
silly. But if it's just a small amount,
Yeah.
if you think about hiring the venue, the guest, and all the type of things that wouldn't be a profit, it would simply be to run the event, then I personally would say it would be okay. I would. But
Yeah.
Kim's just a very generous person. It's so hard to do all this for everyone. Sorry to disagree with you and play
No,
devil.
no. I love it. I always have this disagreement with people that keep telling me charge for your events, and I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, I do love that though, and the fact that you get so incredible guest experts to come and speak at your events is just it's just amazing.
Thank you.
Hi, LinkedIn user. You just came up as a LinkedIn user, but thank you so much. If you have any questions, let us know.
Thank you.
And Prasad, I completed my MBA from Adelaide, but you were in Singapore. Cool. And advice for those offshore currently. Are there online events that I can? Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Are there online events that you can leverage for the time being?
I'm sure that there are some online events that you can attend. Definitely. This is one of them. This is an online event, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Have a look on meetup.com, Prasad. And it might not be Adelaide, it might be Australia-wide. You might need to look in Sydney or Melbourne. But if you go to meetup.com and then maybe just type in business or the job you want to target, or experiment with search terms, there is an online option. I used to do some events a couple of years ago, and I would do online events, and I was able to list online events. So there will be options on meetup.com. It just maybe a bit of research. I can't tell you what they are, but there will be some out there. All right. If any more questions, let us know. But now I'd love you to tell us about the Migrant Women International Network, Kim. So I've been following it on LinkedIn for a while, and it's just absolutely incredible. Just tell us a little bit more about it. If anyone wants to join, the type of because I know every month, you have different networking opportunities, different guests, and that type of thing. So what can someone expect if they come to one of your events?
They can expect a warm, friendly community. They can expect to learn a lot. And I think that just that building new friendships, connections within the people around you. I think though the event that I guess with Migrant Women Professional Network, what we are trying to do is we're trying to empower migrant women through professional connections and also professional development.
Yeah.
So, we try to organize a lot of different topics, for example, to get, women of different industries, different areas to come along to speak. And we get women from, so many different nationalities and that come along as well.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. Perfect. And what type of speakers have you had?
Oh, we've had speakers that spoke about well-being, positive emotions, how to find a job here, resume writing skills. Like a couple of days ago, we had one about leadership. So it really varies. There's just so many different things and topics that we usually have. And really the topics are really endless because there's just so many different areas that we want to explore. So and there's only 12 months in a year.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's really not enough to cover all of the topics that I want to talk about,
100%. I agree with
Yeah.
that. I think because I kind of do the same with like career development. And I feel like so many people are like job search, like it's just job search, but there's so much to learn just within that about job search and career.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine just how many amazing topics about
Yeah.
job search and career and well-being that you have.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, Conchana just said she just wants to tell you.
Yeah, I can read that.
So, yeah. Well, yeah, when your classes end, then maybe you can go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to say? Any bits of wisdom? What's your biggest mistake?
Oh, my biggest mistake.
Biggest networking mistake, like when you were just starting out.
Oh, I think I think I already spoke about this. Having that impression that I'm gonna go into
Yeah,
the room and getting my first job, I think that was a big mistake because
yeah,
it really put like that unnecessary pressure.
yeah,
And I think like once I let it go, I start to realize that I'm a little bit more open, I'm a little bit more relaxed, and I can be
yeah.
myself. And I think that's
Perfect.
what's important when you're attending a networking event. You want to be yourself because you want people to meet the real you. And
Yeah,
that's how you're going to build relationships.
yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I have no more questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to anyone?
Well, I would just like to say thank you so much, Natalie, for having me. And I would encourage, those of you who are in Adelaide to come along for the Migrant Women Professional Network event next year. We have lots planned in 2024, and I hope to see you at some of our events.
Perfect. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And yeah, definitely. And I will have this. The replay will be on LinkedIn, but it will also be on my website eventually with subtitles and
Yep.
all of Kim's information about the network and things like that as well. So you can all find out about her forever and ever and ever. But that's it for now. Thank you. Yes, sincerely, thank you. You're incredible to do all this. And as I said, I know how much work will go into it. So yeah,
Thank
you've done a
you. Thanks,
really
Natalie. You're
incredible.
doing a great job as well. You're doing a great job too.
Thank you so much. It's a bit. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. If you've got any more questions, yeah, just comment and we'll get to answering you. And yeah, just to shout out again, if anyone is in Adelaide or surrounds, commuting distance to Adelaide, definitely connect with Kim and check out the events next year. They're really great. I know people who go and they love them. They
Thank you.
love them. They've
Thank
learned so
you.
much, always raving about how great they are. So definitely check them out. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. No problem at all.
Thanks so much.